الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون. هو الذي خلقكم من طين ثم قضى أجل وأجل مسمى عنده ثم أنتم تمترون. وهو الله في السماوات وفي الأرض يعلم سركم وجهركم ويعلم ما تكسبون. نحمده سبحانه وتعالى ونستعينه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الله به غمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين فصلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. يا إخوة وأخوات في الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل، فإن خير ما يتزود به عبده وتقوى الله، لأن سبحانه وتعالى يقول في كتاب العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وقوله أيضا في القرآن الكريم: ولقد ذرأنا لجهنم كثيرا من الجن والإنس لهم قلوب لا يفقهون بها ولهم أعين لا يبصرون بها ولهم آذان لا يسمعون بها أولئك كالأنعام بل هم أضل أولئك هم الغافلون. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن في جسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. صدق الله ثم بلغ رسول الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين. My dear brothers and sisters, men and women of understanding, inshallah, today's khutbah we are going to, inshallah, talk about the heart. Not only the muscles that enclose the spiritual heart. There's outer heart that we are looking at, which enclose the spiritual heart. Both of them are very important. Doctors will tell you, and the doctors of spiritual also will tell you, this heart is very important to mankind. So therefore, we want to talk about it, but talk about the spiritual aspect of it. As we all know, the heart, which beats 100,000 times a day and transports 2 gallons of blood throughout the system every minute, 2 gallons. That means in an hour, it transport over what? If you multiply that, 60 gallons that pumps throughout your system. And not only that, the transportation of that blood through all the organs have a distance. This is not my words, this is doctors, has a distance of 60,000 miles, which is 2 times more than the circumference of the world. This is taking place as a physical heart that enclose the spiritual heart. But we want to talk about the spiritual heart because we all know today the nervous central system is alluded to the mind, but Quran talk to the heart. Doctors have said it's known today that the heart starts beating before the mind becomes fully fully aware of what it needs to do. So there is we know God controls the heart, which causes the heart to start beating before even the mind becomes fully in place. So therefore, Quran talks to the heart, even when it comes to thinking. The surah that ayah that I just recited at the beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَقَدْ زَرَعْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. So we have created many jinn kind and the mankind for the hellfire, that they have the heart that does not reason, does not, contemplate. The heart that does not contemplate. La uqul la yafqahuna biha. It's not the mind does not complete, the heart. Walahum a'yunun la yubsiruna biha. And they do have the eyes that they see not with it. Walahum a'dhanun la yasma'una biha. And they have the eyes, the ears that they do not hear with. Doesn't mean that they can't hear, doesn't mean that they can't see, but they are not aware of it, because at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ulaika kal an'am. They are like cattle, like animals. This is Quran. It's not my word. Ulaika humul ghafilun. Underline this word, ghafil. Those who are heedless, unmindful. Wallahi ya ikhwan. Quran said, وَلَكَدْ صَرَّفْنَا لِلنَّاسِ فِي هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ كُلِّ مَثَلٍ فَأَبَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have given all examples that one can find in the Quran, but people refuse not to, follow. So the spiritual aspect make you see what eyes cannot see, ears cannot hear. Even though they hear, they cannot hear what is going on, because the heart is sealed. So therefore, what is most important here is to focus of your heart. What state are we in? When you see Quran has divided people in three, not less than that. There may be more, but they all fall in three categories, which is al-mu'min, the believer, al-kafir, the disbeliever, wal-munafiqin, and the hypocrite. So believer, non-believer, and munafiq. And all of them do have chapters in the Quran. We have Surah Al-Mu'minun, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. We have the Surah of Munafiq, إِذَا جَاءَكَ الْمُنَافِقُونَ قَالُوا نَشْهَدُ. And then we have also Surah Al-Kafirun, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. So when you look at this, all of them share one thing in common, and that is heart. Believe or disbelieve, or be a hypocrite. Now, the interesting thing about the hypocrisy is we have a hypocrisy of nifaq al-i'tiqad, hypocrisy of disbelief. These are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explained in Surah Al-Munafiqun. إِذَا جَاءَكَ الْمُنَافِقُونَ قَالُوا نَشْهَدُ. They testify, indeed, you are the messenger. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said they are liars. So that is totally different. And there's other nifaq al-amal, and the hypocrisy of work. So therefore, the person is doing it not because of Allah's sake, not because of Allah, but doing it for people. The person, so these are the people that they are in altercation within themselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explained that in Surah An-Nisa, where he said, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُمْ وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسِ يعني يُرَاءُونَ النَّاسِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when you see them, like the hypocrites, whenever they come to pray, they pray in laziness. وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And they stand lazy while they're praying, and they're not really contemplating about Allah subhanahu, who they are worshipping. And so therefore they remember very, very little of Allah. They do remember of Allah, but very, very little. وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. They do not remember Allah at all. So, except very little. So they are believers. They did not disbelieve, but they believe. But whenever they're doing Allah's work, they do it in a hypocrite way. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from that. So therefore, whenever we come to stand, one of the faqih said, Ya gulam, oh boy, ma li arhaka fi qiyamin wa ruku'in wa sujudin wa ta'abin wa sahrin wa qalbuka lam yambra min makan. The person is praying. So the faqih was saying, why do I see you in your standing to pray, in your sujood, in your ruku, you're bowing down, in your sujood, in your prostrating, and in your struggling and tiring, all that, but your heart is yet to move, to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to realize what Allah wants from us. So this is the biggest issue that is going on. I'm bringing this issue to realize, Quran said, فَإِنَّهَا لَتَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارِ وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَى الْقُلُوبُ الَّتِي فِي الصُّدُورِ. It's not the eyes that goes blind, but the heart that is in the chest. That's why the Surah An-Nas is very important. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ وَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ. That's Shaitan, the slinking Shaitan, who whispering in the heart. مِنْ شَرِّ وَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ. Who whisper in the chest of mankind, not in the mind, in the chest of. So Quran always allude to the heart. This is very important. So my dear brothers and sisters, this heart is what Allah is looking for. Wallahi, not inna Allah la yanzur ila suwarikum wa amwalikum walakin Allah yanzur ila qulubikum wa a'malikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at your wealth, your movement of your body. No. But he looks at your heart, scan your heart, and the deeds that you have done. Sometimes you can be even ignorant in what you're doing. But so long as your heart is to Allah, Allah is happy with you. A man said, Ya Allah, anta abd wa ana rabbuk. He was happy. Oh Allah, you are my servant and I'm your Lord. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah is happy with him than him being happy to find his camel. Why? Because intention, innamal a'malu biniyat. So therefore, this heart that we all need to work hard to make sure that we are on the track, fi siratul mustaqim. Whatever we are doing, we do solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, we will talk about why we are talking about all this in the next khutbah. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم من الله غفور رحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. My dear brothers and sisters, from here there's a janaza that I have to attend, inshallah, in Hal bin Walid. Maybe some of you heard. A friend of my children suddenly passed away, and young men are dying. Young men are dying. baghtatan, just like that. That's the news that we have. And now we go in there to bury a young man. The fathers are burying children. I remember my father used to say, may you bury us. That was the dua that is, But things are changing today. Children are suddenly dying. Children. And this is for us to realize, how are we returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? يَوْمَ لَا يُنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Allah subhanahu, the day that your children, your wealth means nothing, except the one who returned to Allah with a wholesome heart. This heart, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when it's corrupt, everything is corrupt. And when it's wholesome, everything is wholesome. And that is the heart, a lump of flesh, which we see enclosing the spiritual aspect of the heart, which we do not see. And where you uplift those things are people with a spiritual knowledge, and those who remind all of us, this heart is wanted by Allah, and Shaitan is looking for it also. Shaitan and Shayateen, whether you believe that or not, at this age that we are in, you know that is true. So they are not looking for you to, they grab you, sleep. What's في صدور الناس? Influence through either handset or human being. Today, this is overwhelming everyone. And laws are backing these things to continue. More challenges to the children and the parents. I don't know if we are aware what is happening in 17th of March, which is going to be passed as a law that those who can kill themselves, they decide they want to die, whether they are stressed or some illness that they don't want to live anymore. They can go ahead. Before, they used to have 10 days that you go and think about it. Perhaps you're not making a good judgment. They are going to remove that. The moment you decide, it's done. Not only that, 18 years of age can do the same thing. This is coming. Okay? How many of 18-year-old have bad judgments? And they can do that without you, the parents. And they can decide to who going to do that. He used to be just a doctor, but now the nurses are in it, even pharmacists. Not only that, somebody who even you pay can come and witness that, and it's done. The same time, boom, it's done. No 10 days. 17th of March. It's becoming a law. وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى تَهْلُكَةٍ. Do not throw yourself into, don't perish yourself. But this is it. And the insanity of it is, anyone who have mental, this is part of it. With what you're going to reason with, to say you're going to take your life. But this is going on seldomly in the country that we live in. And in our classes, you have those who are teaching our children. They come so openly plain. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and I will close with that. He said, وَاللَّهُ يُرِيدُ أَن يَتُوبَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَيُرِيدُ الَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ الشَّهَوَاتِ أَن تَمِيلُوا مَيْلًا عَظِيمًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would like to pardon us. He opened that door to really call us back to it. Now somebody will say, because this is the illusion, which Allah subhanahu, anyone would think of this. Allah is the one who created us. Why didn't He create us like the angels? That we don't have to go through this. Because لا يعصون الله ما أمروا ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. They are just like the way the moon moved to the end and the sun orbit, the planet orbit around the sun, and how the tree grow, and these are all under the command of Allah. Why human beings are not created that way. This is in the hands of Allah. And I think that is the greatest test. Not even death, not poverty, not, which we have in, in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ. Not more than that. They are tests, but the most greatest test to mankind is choice. I can do what I want. I can refuse. This is the greatest test. So, what makes a believer loved by Allah is to decide, I am going to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in spite of what the world is doing, in spite of what thousands of people are saying. Right? It's right. Even if all people are staying away from it, and wrong is wrong, even everybody is doing it. Where do you get this? You listen to your heart. Well, you listen to your heart. You know what you are going to do is not correct. It's not right. What you are going to watch is not correct. It's not right. Listen to your heart. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you. Before we got here, my children were telling me in the house they can see what the other person is watching. I did not know that. I think I'm the only naive in the house. But they can watch what I'm watching. This is in the hands of a human being. This technology today, imagine Allah. Imagine Allah. In your secret, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala know what you're doing. Anything that we do. So can't we say, I am going to stand firm to please Him alone. Wallahi, this is the pillar that one can have. No one can crumble it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to stabilize these pillars. Allahumma a'idh al-Islam wal-Muslimin wa adilla shirka wal-Mushrikeen wa dammir a'da' ad-din. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان يا رب العالمين يا من رد يوسف إلى أبي وموسى إلى أمي رد المسلمين إلى دينك ردا جميلا يا من حملت يونس في بطن الحوت وموسى في البحار نجنا من عذاب النار وجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين قوموا الصلاة